king had given him as a privilege a large village situated not far from the capital. This Mathura married and his wife bore a daughter. Because the eyes of this young girl resembled those of the Cho Li bird, she was called Sari. Later the mother bore a son whose knee bones were very big, and for that reason he was called Kiu Hai Lo. After this Brahmin married, he was busy raising his son and daughter. He forgot all the holy books he had studied and he did not put his mind to acquiring new knowledge. At that time, there was in southern India, a Brahmin, a great master of teaching, named Ti Cho. He had penetrated deeply into the 18 kinds of great holy books. This man came to the city of Rajagra. On his head he was carrying a torch and his belly was covered with copper sheets. When he was asked the reason for the second peculiarity, he answered, "The holy books which I have studied are extremely numerous. Thus I fear lest my belly will burst, and that is why I have covered it with metal." When he was asked why he carried a torch in the daytime on his head, he answered that it was because of the great darkness. But, the crowd answered him, "The sun has appeared and illumines us. Why are you talking about darkness?" He replied, "There are two kinds of darkness. One is produced when the light of the sun does not illumine us. The other is the evil that comes from the shadows of stupidity. Now, although there is the brightness of the sun, the shadows of stupidity are still profound." The crowd continued, "Have you then not seen the Brahmin Mathura? If you see him, your belly will be constricted and your torch will be obscured." When this Brahmin heard these words, he went to the drum that calls to debate and sounded it. When the king heard this sound, he asked who had caused it. His ministers said to him, "It is a Brahmin from the south of India named Tijya. He is a great master of teaching. He wishes to ask for a subject of debate, and that is why he has sounded the drum." The king was delighted. He gathered the people together at once and said to them, "Let whoever is capable of confounding him debate with him." When Mathura was informed of this, he mistrusted his power, for he said, "I have forgotten everything and I have not busied myself with acquiring new knowledge. I do not know if I am capable of undertaking a debate with this man." However, he forced himself to go to meet him. On the road there were two bulls that were fighting using their horns. He had this reflection: "This bull here is me. That bull over there is this other man. I shall have a portent of who will be the winner." It was the first bull that was the winner, and Mathura felt very sad, for he said to himself, "According to this portent, it is I who will lose." When he was about to join the crowd, he saw a woman directly in front of him who was carrying a pitcher of water. She stumbled on the ground and broke her pitcher. He thought once again, "That too is not a good omen," and he was very displeased. When he was in the crowd, he saw the master of teaching whose face and aspect had all the marks of triumph. He recognized then that he was defeated, but as he could not do otherwise, he agreed to debate with him. As soon as the discussion had begun, he fell into contradictions. The king, who was very happy, thought, "An intelligent man endowed with great wisdom has come from afar to my kingdom." He wanted to give him a privilege. But his ministers reprimanded him, saying, "If, because an intelligent man has come, you at once give him as privilege a large village, whereas you do not reward your ministers who have served you well, and if you reserve all your favors for those who debate, we are afraid that that is not appropriate behavior to ensure the peace of the kingdom and the welfare of your family. Now Mathura has been defeated in the debate. You must remove his privilege and give it to the person who has triumphed over him. If another man comes and in turn is victorious, the same privilege should again be given to him." The king followed this advice and took away Mathura's privilege to give it to the man who had come lately. Then Mathura said to Tijya, "You are an intelligent man. I give you my daughter in marriage. My son will be your assistant. As for me, I wish to retire afar in a foreign land to pursue my own projects." Tijya then took this girl as his wife. Having become pregnant, This woman saw in a dream a man who, wearing a breastplate and a helmet and carrying a thunderbolt in his hand, crushed the ordinary mountains and stood upright at the side of a very high mountain. When she awoke, she told her husband the dream she had had. Tijia said to her, "It is a sign that you will give birth to a son who will crush all the masters in the art of debate. There will be only one man whom he will not be able to overcome, and he will become his disciple." During her pregnancy, because of the son she was carrying, Sari herself became very intelligent and very skillful in debate. Each time that her younger brother Kaustila debated with her, he was defeated. He said to himself, "The son whom my sister is bearing is certainly of high intelligence. If he shows himself in this way even before he is born, what will he be like when he is born?" Then Kaustila left his family, gave himself up to study and went to the south of India. He did not cut his fingernails until he had read the 18 kinds of holy books and had completely mastered them. This is why the people of that time surnamed him the Brahmin with long nails. 7 days after he was born, the baby boy was wrapped in white cotton to be shown to his father, who thought, "I am called Tijia. This child will drive out my name. Therefore I will call him Upatisya, he who casts out Tijia." Such was the name given to this child by his parents. But other people, considering that it was Sari who had given him birth, with one accord agreed to call him Cholifu, the son of Sari. Later, thanks to the previous vows he had made in many successive lifetimes, Sariputra became foremost of Sakyamuni's disciples in his wisdom. His name was Sariputra. This name thus came to him from the causes and conditions that consist of his previous vows. That is why he is called Sariputra. Question: why not say upatisya and why limit oneself to saying Sariputra? Answer: people then highly honored his mother, who was the most intelligent of all women, and that is why they called this man Sariputra. Sutra: the bodhisattva who wants to cognize all dharmas in all aspects must exert himself in practicing the prajnaparamita. Sastra: see what has been said above on the bodhisattva-mahasattva in the chapter dedicated to the praise of the bodhisattva. Question: what is it that is called all aspects and what is it that is called all dharmas? V. Sarvakara. Answer: the doors of wisdom are called aspects. There are people who contemplate dharmas under a single prajnamukha. Others contemplate it under 2, 3, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 prajnamukhas, even under a number of prajnamukhas as incalculable as the number of sands of the Ganges. Here, it is by entering by all the prajnamukhas in all the aspects that we contemplate all the dharmas. This is what is called contemplating under all the aspects. 1. Among ordinary people, there are 3 kinds of contemplations. To try to escape from desire and form, they contemplate the coarseness, deceitfulness, and corruption of the desire realm and the form realm. 2. Among the Buddha's disciples, there are 8 kinds of contemplations. For them, everything is impermanent, suffering, empty, egoless, like a sickness, an ulcer, like an arrow stuck in one's body, like an agony. 3. These 8 kinds of contemplations, applied to the 4 noble truths, make 16 aspects. Grouped into 4s. These are: the 4 aspects of contemplation on suffering. I. Anitya, impermanent. 2. Dukkha, suffering. 3. Sunya, empty. 4. Anatmaka, egoless. The 4 aspects of the contemplation on the origin of suffering. I. Samudaya, origin. 2. Hechu, cause. 3. Pratyaya, condition. 4. Prabhav, process. The 4 aspects of the contemplation on the cessation of suffering. I. Niraya, cessation. 2. Santa, tranquility. 3. Pranita, excellence. 4. Nisarana, deliverance. The four aspects of the contemplation on the path: I, marga, path; 2, nyaya, rational; 3,